So we're with Sandra Drakes, and we're looking at the life and times of a businesswoman and her business to see what we can learn from it. And so Sandra, first of all, tell us what your business is.
Well, the name of my company is Breeze Productions, and it's part of the entertainment creative industry. We sing at weddings and concerts. That's basically what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Creative industry.
Creative industry, bands singing at concerts, festivals,
Right.
weddings.
Now, I find that every person and every business hits a point where they face a crisis or a challenge, something awkward, a difficulty, which can prove to help us strengthen for the future. Could you perhaps tell us such a situation for you?
Yeah, I think one of the most challenging ones was we started out with three of us, and there came a point where we were going to break up our partnership. And that was hard because it was hard for me. I was like, can I do this alone? Can I keep going alone? Am I smart enough? Am I strong enough? Should we stay together? Should I compromise? And so that was a challenging moment in my business.
Right. And so the breakup did happen.
Yeah.
What was the thing you learned most from that situation?
Well, I learned that I could go alone. And the reason for the breakup had to do with, we had different ways of working and different belief systems. And what I learned is that it was good that I didn't compromise and that I stayed true to myself or the sense of what I felt I needed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you were saying to me earlier that as a creative, you doubted your own sales expertise. These other two were doing most of the sales at that point.
Yeah.
Tell us what you discovered.
Yeah, I didn't think I was a salesperson at all. And then we had a situation where we had like a big client and the other two were struggling with this client. And in our discussions, they were like, well, why don't you try? And I was sort of like, no, I can't do it. I'll do it. But I did it and it actually went really well. And so then within the company, we discovered that I have a talent for sales. I managed to get good amounts of money. I have good relationships with clients, that sort of thing. But that was a real shock to me.
Right.
I would never have thought, if you'd asked me, can you be a salesperson? I would have said no.
Right. Tell us, what did you learn about your type of sales technique?
Yeah, my type of sales technique is I become your friend a bit, probably.
Right.
It's really important to me that we both win. So, and I think the customer feels that.
Right.
And that makes it easier for me in that they may feel the price might be high, but it makes it easier because then they're not trying to get me down because I guess they must feel that, my integrity, or they feel that this is good for both of us and, what she's saying is true.
Right. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I can believe that. That personal edge wins them over.
Yeah.
You were saying that there was a difference of philosophy between you and your partners at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily that theirs was bad and yours was good or theirs was wrong or right, but a difference in how to price.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your philosophy on pricing, because this could help some people.
Yeah. So my philosophy personally within my context, I stay away from conversations where a client can break down every item. Right. I always steer it away from there because then I feel that then I've sort of lost it and I don't have the overview anymore. So I always keep the client sort of talking about about global figures of it. In working with people, so I've had repeat clients also.
Right.
I'm very fair. I'm fair to the people that work for me. It's not so important that I make huge profits and then you have singers that have spent a whole day and made very little money. It's important to me that they make a good salary if they've spent the day with me and that it's a positive experience for them.
So you will always pitch a price that is higher than average, so that you can be fair to the other artists you use. Yeah,
higher than average for our level, because we're not hugely famous. We have some TV credits, that sort of thing, and some important credits, but we're not, I don't know, can't think of a group, but we're not famous, but within the context that we are, we charge a high price.
Yeah, and that's an interesting learning that you were prepared to have to go separate ways with people you'd started the business with, because you wanted to stay true to a principle you felt was important.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be about pricing. Right. People out there could be challenged by some other thing. Yeah. But it's worth walking through those awkward moments
Yeah.
for you to keep clear about what's important to you
Yeah.
in business.
And it makes you strong. It makes you stronger in your
Right.
in yourself, in your trust in God, and just like you're hearing a voice and you do what you hear,
Right.
and it ends up working out well. It ends up being a good thing.
And you probably would never have discovered you were a businesswoman.
No.
You thought you were a great artist,
Yeah.
great singer, great entertainer, which you are.
Yeah.
But
thanks.
through this process,
Yeah.
you discovered this other side of you,
Yes.
that you can run a business. You are a businesswoman. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Why don't we bring faith into this
Okay.
right now? So in terms of your faith, your walk with God, how has that affected your business? How have you brought that into your business?
Well, definitely there's lots of prayer, and before events there's always prayer. But some of the special things that I've really loved about this is that I would never consider myself an evangelist, but because what we do, it will move people, there's this opportunity always to have conversations with people.
Right.
So you end up being able to evangelize and talk about your faith and talk about, well, why does this song move you? Or this made me cry. Why do you think why? And I'm able to speak into that.
Right.
So, I think that's a really wonderful gift.
That's wonderful. And as an Imagine Pioneers, that's
Yeah.
really a strong part of
Yeah.
why we exist.
Yeah.
To really build the kingdom person,
Yeah.
to be a kingdom person in their marketplace. And so I would love for everyone
Yeah.
to be looking for those opportunities.
Yeah.
What about some of the practical things you share with me around money management, invoicing,
Yeah.
in terms of biblical values? How does that look for you?
Yeah, so here I've struggled. There can be a real culture here of being paid under the table, and that never feels right to me. It never feels need to get paid. We need to pay our taxes, that sort of thing. So it's forced me to really learn more about the Dutch payment system. So there are
Right.
ways of paying people a certain amount that's under the tax level, and you can report the cash. So it's forced me to learn
Right.
some different ways. I've also had to lose some people, and that's has to be okay.
Right.
You
Sure,
know, because
sure.
the larger the job, it gets harder. The smaller jobs, you can do this sport sort of vergoeding thing,
Yeah.
but beyond a certain amount, you have to pay people.
That's a bold thing to be
Yeah.
prepared to let someone go because it's not matching
Yeah,
your values. I know there's also opportunities out there in terms of new startups too for tax advantages
Yeah.
for those.
yeah,
So it is good for people to look into doing it the right way.
yeah. And the rules are always evolving and changing, and over time,
Right.
they've even made it easier to pay people's and avoid having them be your employee.
Right.
So yeah.
That's good. Sandra, this has been an absolute delight.
Yay,
It is
okay.
such an honor looking on to you as a God person, but looking on to you as a businesswoman and your business and the way you've been able to mold it all together, keep as a person of integrity, and also grow through the learning stages of business growth. So thanks for your time.
You're welcome. It was great. Thanks for having me.